If I could go back, I do wish that I had stayed in the hospital the first night. I kind of wasn't doing well. I don't know how I didn't pass out, but I don't want to scare you away from it. Hello everybody, it's me Nia. If you didn't already know, about I think it was 8 weeks ago, I actually got a nose job, and the other day I was looking at my YouTube comments and I saw someone say, hey, can I ask what questions you had on your phone to ask your surgeon pre-op? I've got my consultation next week and I can't think of any. So I thought I would do a video telling you all my questions. So this is 25 things I wish I knew before my nose job. Also, for context, this is a before photo of my nose and this is my nose now. Honestly, couldn't have asked for a better surgeon, and he was really lovely as well. This is only 8 weeks post-op though, so it takes up to a year to see your final result because of residual swelling. So this isn't even my final nose. Hopefully I like it even more in a year. I've kind of grouped them, so these are all the questions. I'm just gonna read through them, tell you what I was told, and then tell you my actual experience. The first question is, how long will the operation take? And when I asked my surgeon this, he told me it wouldn't take any longer than 2 hours. Just before I went in, he said it could actually take up to 4 hours, and it took 4 hours. I went in at 2 and I came out just after 6. It did take a lot longer than we first thought it would, but bless my dad stayed and waited the full 4 hours. He was so anxious the whole time, but I would much rather him not rush the process. Him taking the extra 2 hours made it feel a lot more thorough. For me, I just went to sleep, woke up, had a new nose. Can you imagine my surgeon bent over my nose, like cutting it all up for 4 hours? He deserves a medal for that. Another thing that was really important for me to know was, are there any hidden costs? I went private with my surgery because we wanted to kind of speed things along. If you haven't seen my nose job video where I basically document the entire process from first consultation to the finished result, I kind of explained my reasonings for going private, so go check that out if you want to see. My surgeon told me that it was kind of like a package deal where everything is included in the surgery price. So like the cast removal a week later, you get a 6-week appointment, which I've just had, and then you get a year later appointment. Anything you need after the appointment is included in the total surgery price. I hear a lot of horror stories about American healthcare, like how, I don't know, you get charged $200 for paracetamol or something like that. I've never gone private in my life. I'm an NHS girly. I didn't know what to expect, and also it was just nice knowing that there weren't going to be any shock costs along the way. Do you believe my expectations can be met? I was told that it was kind of a compromise, so you're never ever realistically going to get your ideal dream nose. You can Photoshop an image, but it's a lot harder to do it in real life, so it was sort of a compromise between what I wanted and what the surgeon could realistically give me. The more you shave off your nose, the more risk there is for complications. He told me that he thought I would be happy with the final result, but it might not be exactly how I wanted. There's always going to realistically be some imperfections, like you can never get 100% symmetrical nose. Does that make sense? Do I have to avoid eating and drinking beforehand? If so, how long for? I was going to be put to sleep around 1-2 p.m, somewhere in between then. I was told I had to stop eating after 7 a.m, so I think it was 6 hours before you're put to sleep. And you can drink, I was told to stop drinking after 11, so I think that's 2 hours before you're put to sleep, and you can only drink clear liquids like black tea, water, squash, that kind of stuff. So that is definitely important, because if you don't follow that, they won't go through with the surgery. Oh, this one's really important. Can I see any past work? Do you have a portfolio or any references? It's really important to see your surgeon's past work and research your surgeon. This is a huge amount of money, a huge commitment. This is permanent. This is such a massive process to go through. You can't just wing it and go in blind with your surgeon. You really have to be making sure you make the right choices. And so he pulled up all of his past work on an iPad, before and afters, all different angles and stuff, and there were some really cute noses. I don't want to sound horrible or anything, but it was nice to see noses that like needed more shaved off than my nose needed, ending up looking kind of how I wanted my nose to look. Does that make sense? I remember there was one nose in particular that me and my dad were like, like I'd be happy to put that nose on my face. What time would the operation be? I was a little confused because on my letter it said to get to the hospital at 12, so I wanted to know what time my actual operation would be. He told me it'd be between 1 and 2, but obviously you have to get there before so that you can sign consent forms, have your health check, talk to the anaesthetist, tell them any worries, and have a last minute consultation as well. That was really important. I had a little bump at the top of my nose and I totally forgot about it, and then I realised I hadn't told him about it because I was so worried about my side profile that I forgot to mention my little hump up there. How long do I have to stay in hospital? My surgery wasn't super late, but obviously it ended at 6. My ward shut at 8, I think. He told me that most cases they send the patient home, but obviously there is a slight chance you're going to have to stay overnight if it started heavy bleeding or something, or I was really not doing well, which I kind of wasn't doing well. I remember I woke up and I was feeling great. Apparently I was really chatty and they said that I was really nice. I was just being friendly to everyone. I don't remember a single bit of it. I had a sandwich and the next thing I know I just felt really ill. I'm the kind of person where if I don't feel good I will go quiet, which is kind of stupid because everyone's there for you in this situation, and I should have spoken up. I was actually sick when I got home and then I went upstairs and then I was sick again. I should have probably stayed overnight. Like, I was not doing great. If I could go back, I do wish that I had stayed in the hospital the first night, but it was kind of nice to be in my own bed. I don't know, I'm happy. Everything ended up fine in the end. If my results aren't how I wanted, is there a policy? They had to really make sure before the surgery that I didn't have any body dysmorphia. If you do have any type of body dysmorphia, anything they do to it, you're not going to be happy with it 100%. Like, you could literally have the dream nose on your face and you still wouldn't be happy because you just wouldn't see it in the mirror. He did say that if you're not 100% happy, that there is a policy where they will give you a nose job at like the fraction of the price. I'm really happy with everything. But it was nice to know. Oh, and also obviously in the surgery they are breaking your nose. There's this 3-week window where your nose is, this sounds really gross, but your nose is still malleable. If like my nose was wonky, he could kind of just put me on the table, put a bit of local anaesthetic and like kind of mould my nose. Or I could do a revised surgery at a fraction of the cost. If I have an emergency the night after surgery or after hours, what should I do? He told me to phone a secretary, and there was also like a 24-hour line, and this actually did happen because my painkillers made me so ill. My dad had to phone up and get different painkillers and it was a massive hassle. Obviously he just phoned up the people. What kind of things can go wrong? How likely is that to happen? I think there's the chance that your nose can like collapse. He was telling me that your nose is kind of like this and you sort of shave off the top, so it's just like 2 sharp bits in your nose. The more you shave off, the more risk there is, he told me, and that you can lose like the function of your nose as well, which the main reason I was going for the surgery was to improve the function of my nose. So obviously I didn't want to then lose the function of my nose, lose the tiny bit of function I had left. What is the healing process like? You have your cast on for a week, and to be honest the healing process is pretty bad. I won't lie to you, the first few days were horrendous, but it did get better. If you wanted to see what my healing process was like, I documented it all in my nose job video, so go check that out. Do I have to sleep upright? How long for? Obviously following the 3-week nose rule. If you like squish your nose could move. Your nose hasn't set in place, so it can't move. It helps with the swelling, it helps reduce the risk of rolling over onto your side and hurting your nose. I got this huge pillow. It's like an upright pillow. I got that. I think it was only £20. I bought it from Dunelm. Saved me. Oh, and I also got a neck pillow as well, like a really sturdy one from Amazon, so that when I leant like that, nothing would hit my nose. After surgery, will my nose be packed? With what type of packing? For how long? Are the gauzes dissolvable? Now this was quite scary for me because, well, I thought the only thing that they put in your nose is actually the packing, like the gauze packing that absorbs all the gross stuff in your nose, but it actually wasn't. And I'll get onto that in a sec. I'd seen people's videos of them pulling out the gauzes and it looked like, because they're dry obviously, well, kind of dry because it's like a massive tampon kind of thing. I just didn't like the idea of them pulling all that like cotton stuff out of my nose. I don't know if it's the same in America, but in England he said yes, they are dissolvable and I'll put this dissolvable packing up my nose, but they don't pull it out. What he did put in my nose were these massive plastic splints, and they were huge. I'm telling you, they were like that big up my nose. I don't know how he got them in. I don't know how he got them out. I don't know how I didn't pass out. They were like solid plastic, but I don't want to scare you away from it. I would do that every day if it meant I could have my new nose. Is there a cast? Originally I was told there wasn't going to be a cast because I think the receptionist that we asked thought it was just going to be a septoplasty, not a septorhinoplasty. So if you just have a septoplasty, they don't do a cast because obviously they're not breaking any bones. I said, if so, do I need to get it removed? When? Yeah, you obviously need to get your cast removed. It's a week after your surgery. My surgery was on September 27th and my cast removal was on October 5th. Do I have to come back for any checkup? There's the week after, which is your cast removal. There's a 6-week post-op appointment and then there's a year post-op appointment. Obviously the main reason I was having this surgery was for the functional reasons, but if you're just doing a cosmetic procedure then this isn't really relevant. How will my breathing be improved? I didn't know what was wrong with my nose. All I knew was that for 21 years I haven't been able to breathe out of it. He told me I actually had a deviated septum, which I've heard so many people talk about deviated septums before. Had no idea what they actually were. Also, I had enlarged turbinates. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, and it was blocking my airways, and my septum was like that, which was also blocking my airways. He told me that he would reduce the swelling of the turbinates and straighten my septum so that my airways weren't blocked anymore. Will I need a graft? If so, what kind? Your nose skin here is actually some of the thinnest, most fragile skin on your body. In some cases, if your nose skin is so thin, which was like in my case, they actually have to put some padding in there. I was allowed either packet collagen, so lab grown collagen. I think that is the more popular option, but there is more risk. For me, I was extremely lucky to get my surgery when I got it. I wasn't expecting to get it till next June. I wanted as little risk as possible. I took the second option, which was almost risk-free because it's from your own body. What they did was they shaved a bit of my hair and then they took a bit of my skin and put it in my nose. I've now got a slight scar, but he did it so neatly. And when my hair's up, I don't think you can even notice it at all, to be honest. I have no regrets from taking that option. Am I able to shower with the dressing on? So like the cast and everything? No, you cannot get your cast wet. On the day of my removal, I actually tried to shower. Well, kind of. I got a cup and I was like going like that, and I got a bit of water on my cast. It was the day of my cast removal, so you can have a bath or something and wash your body, but just stay away from your hair, stay away from your face. When can I wear glasses? He said 3 weeks after, when your nose stops being so malleable, but even after 4 weeks, personally I found it still left massive dents in my nose, so I got some medical tape and taped my glasses to my face. When will I be able to wear makeup? He said as soon as your cast is removed you can wear makeup, it's up to you, but your nose is so incredibly tender that it's completely your decision. Everyone is different, but my nose was agony. I didn't want to put anything near it. First time I put makeup on might have been 3 weeks after my cast removal. I did mascara and eyebrows, but I didn't do any face makeup. How long till I can blow my nose? At first he says you can lightly blow your nose. He recommended if there was like anything in your nose that you needed to get out, to just use a cotton bud, Q-tip, whatever you want to call it. These are all things that I've learned after my surgery. He did warn me beforehand that I might have 2 incisions here, where basically they like have to break your nose from here. So my nose was broke here, here and here, I think. They were so neat, but I do have some scar tissue there, and they're like these little bumps, and if I leave it I will have them forever. But he told me that if I just lubricate my nose and just massage these little bumps, it will flatten them out. He warned me that parts of my nose could heal at different rates, and also your nose is so swollen in the first few weeks that it's just not how it's going to look. I found that at first my nose was like smooth, then I developed a slight hump, and then the more that it healed, the less hump there was. I think there might be the slightest hump ever still, but nothing compared to how it was, honestly. This is one thing I wish someone warned me, is you look in the mirror and you just kind of think, did I even have a nose job? I don't look in the mirror and see much difference, but if you were to show me a photo or video of myself from before my surgery, that is not the same person. I don't think you could physically make my nose look more different than it does now. I can't believe how much I actually hated it without realising. I feel like there are a few people that were quite surprised about me getting a nose job, but then again, you're not really going to actively be advertising to people your insecurities. I didn't even want myself to know that I didn't like my nose, because I didn't really think this was going to be possible. This is the last, well, it's not really a question. I had no idea what to expect for the breathing part of my nose. I was told that it's not going to be a linear improvement. Like some days you have better breathing days than others. It depends on your environment. It could depend on what you eat and drink. It could depend on how much sleep you get. It's just something that fluctuates completely. I'm never going to have the perfect breathing, but no one in this world has perfect breathing. I say this all the time, but before my surgery I could only really breathe up to here, like very shallow breathing in my nose, but now I can like breathe all the way up here. I remember when I had my cast on and I was like feeling cold air up to here, and it was such a strange sensation that it literally would give me a headache. Some days I'll blow my nose and it's like the best breathing ever in the whole world, and then some days I feel like I can breathe 75%, but that is better than like the 20% I could feel before. Anything is an improvement. I hope this video has been in some way helpful if you're considering getting a nose job. Please give it a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below any questions that you have and I will try to answer them if I can, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!